This is another episode of me documenting the day-to-day process that I am taking to achieve long-term consistency in the financial market. And you can see now I have 5 red days in a row. Why is that? Well, today I deliberately broke or ignored the plan that I put in place for my weekly review. If you watched my latest video, you saw my weekly review and how this week I set the intention to work on focusing on lower R trade setups and just locking in equity and just taking what the market gives me, what it affords me. Now today I was up over 80 handles on a setup and I still managed to let that trade come back on me for break even. I saw the low a day. I knew to take profit there and just lock in equity, knowing all the mistakes that I've uncovered from doing the weekly review and creating a plan to fix those mistakes, and I still deliberately made bad behavior. I chose to make bad behavior. It's crazy because here's the bad behavior, right? I know what the bad behavior leads to. If I do this, it leads to this outcome every time, and I still do it. That's foolish. That's foolishness. That shows that I have not learned, because if I'm put in the same situation and I'm repeating the same behavior, I'm not learning, because learning is same situation or same scenario, different behavior. That's it. Now, if I keep putting myself in a winning trade, a solid setup, and I know that all I need to do is lock in equity and focus on 2.5 to 3R, that's it, and I can stack small wins consistently, but I refuse to do that, then I'm not learning, right? So let's get into it. So this is the optimal market approach. What is the draw on liquidity? That's one of the first things that I want to establish when I come to the market. The first thing that I'm probably going to look at is market criteria. How is liquidity presented in the overnight and pre-market session, and how is the volatility within those sessions as well? And then the higher time frame narrative, what's going on the weekly chart, how am I expecting this weekly range to develop? The economic calendar, how that's likely going to influence price action this week. Settlement, basically how those higher time frame candles are closing on the weekly and daily that tell me what the following candle is likely to do. And then the near-term condition, because I'm a short-term trader, I just need to worry about the near-term condition. What has the market been doing recently? And with those 4 elements, I come to a conclusion of the higher time frame narrative. So today, I say with the near-term condition, how recent daily candles have settled and how price is coiling up, I think today is potentially set up to see a break lower towards previous weekly low. We have Jackson Hole later this week with Powell speaking. This drop could set up a potential low resistance liquidity run against shorts. Market criteria. Asian and London are still intact and appears to be setting up plus DGO for the low day play, but I'm anticipating the market to stay heavy and form negative DGO. So the market criteria today, if I look at just market criteria alone, I can see that there's potential for the market to go lower or higher based on things that I see that tend to repeat that lead to a buy day. But if I factor in higher time frame narrative, then it doesn't make sense for me to look for higher prices at all, and I'll explain why. So what is the draw on liquidity? I'm thinking previous weekly low, and I'm anticipating price to break lower out of this coiling price action it's doing. So the main idea is negative DGO, seeing if price can stay heavy at the open under Monday daily low. I'd like to see it targeting previous weekly low. So I want to see it stay heavy at the open under Monday daily low to target previous weekly low, and the market does exactly that. Why am I not able to lock in any equity out of this trading day? Let's figure out why. So I'm just going to read it off my annotations from this morning before the market opened at 9:30. You can see the timestamp right here, 9:16 UTC -4. So the close below previous weekly high on the previous candle is not bullish, so I can anticipate price to draw for previous weekly low as it opens near that level. See how this candle traded up above that candle's high and that candle's high, but closed below it. That's not bullish. It's not a sign of strength. It's a sign of weakness. And we're in close proximity to that candle's low, which is previous weekly low, because this is a weekly chart. So it's likely to draw for that level. On the daily chart, the close below previous weekly high on the previous candle is not bullish. So this is the same thing from the weekly time frame. I'm just carrying it down to the daily, because I have to take that higher time frame narrative from the weekly and carry it all the way down to the 15-minute. Because the higher time frame narrative, what's going on in the higher time frame narrative is going to drive intraday price action on the lower time frame. And the near-term condition is bearish. Look at all these down candles. The market's just consistently putting in lower lows and lower highs. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 consecutive lower daily highs. The market's weak. So the near-term condition is bearish. Price is having a retracement. Seeing how yesterday's candle closed and the coiling price action, I think market could break lower below Monday daily low and aim for previous weekly low that is very smooth. So this is previous weekly low, which is this candle's low on the weekly time frame, this is what it looks like on the daily. It's that right there. Hopefully you can see my cursor. Hopefully it's not too small. And you can see how that low is above that candle's low. These are relatively equal, so I know sell side is going to be there, so it's a level the market is likely to draw for. You can see how Monday's candle closed basically indecisive. This basically tells me that it failed to sustain any kind of rally and just kind of just sat comfortable where it's at. If it's sitting comfortable where it's at near lows, it's definitely heavy. It's not going higher. So carry that down to the 4 hour. If you see the light annotation in blue, I have a system for my annotations as well. So anything that you see in this red, kind of light pinkish, that's higher time frame narrative. Anything that you see in this light blue, that's draw on liquidity that I'm establishing. Anything in the blue, the darker blue, that's a point of interest where I'm anticipating the market to reverse. And then there's other codes as well. We'll get into that in the lower time frame. So we can see that right here in this 4 hour gap, all candles close below it. And this candle's high went above these highs. So this is a stop hunt there. And it closed below the gap. That's a sure sign of weakness. The damage is done here. It doesn't need to go back up there. It should move away from that level. And then the draw on liquidity in the light blue, I'm thinking previous weekly low. Let's go down to the hourly. So carrying everything down from the higher time frame down to the lower time frame, obviously. And this is my point of interest going into the open. We have this up candle that gets overlapped by this down candle. That makes this a bearish order block. So I want to see the market trade up into that, reject that, stay heavy below Monday daily low, and target previous weekly low. Then carrying everything down to the 15-minute as well. Now we can really see the details in the lower time frame on the 15-minute. We can see that stop hunt that was on the 4 hour. That was just indicated by a wick. On the 15-minute, we can see that was actually, boom, they jam it up there, take it above this high, reject this gap. You can see even on the 15-minute, the body of that candle is still closing below the midpoint of that 4 hour gap. That's a sure sign of weakness. And then the market gets heavy, boom. Note how it does not take Monday daily low. I'm kind of in the way here. Let me get out of the way. Hopefully I wasn't in the way on the last slide. If I was, I apologize. You know what? Let's just cover it real quick. Yeah, I definitely was. Was I? Maybe not. Okay, but anyways, you can see the hourly candle, right? That small up candle right there. Boom, boom, boom. There's my cursor. And that's what I was looking for the market to reject. So on the 15-minute, you can see that annotated on the 15-minute now. Stop hunt, weak, did not take Monday daily low, made it relatively equal, and then did not also take the overnight low pre-market. You see how it stopped near that low, turned back inside the range first, rejected the hourly up candle, rejected the 15-minute gap, and then stayed heavy below Monday daily low. But it didn't do that until it was the right time at 9:30. So you can see I'm watching for price to reject the 1 hour up candle and the 15-minute CIVI as well, anticipating the gap to stay open. So my model basically revolves around the opening range gap, how I want to see price trade around the opening range gap based on market criteria and higher time frame narrative, and then I'm simply looking for my entry mechanism to tell me when to get into the market and time the reversal. So how it primed these lows, how it came close to them but did not take them, that's usually contingent with a sell day. When the market does that, we typically have a good sell day. We had a good sell day today. So you can clearly get a good idea of what I'm looking for. Now, we'll look at what the price actually did. So it stayed heavy right at the open. I'm going to pop on the executions and we'll talk about them. So some fat ass drawdown right now. But my mind is still sharp. I'm still up. I'm not getting down on myself. If you watch my previous videos, you know that I was kind of feeling it mentally. Not kind of, definitely. I was definitely hitting a short-term low. But boom, I'm back, baby. I'm rebounding. Because I brought myself back to the roots, and back to the roots was simply aligning myself with this video that I recommend. If you are ambitious, if you have a goal that you're working towards, if you know who you want to become, I would definitely watch this video. It's this right here. This right here. The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. So if you've been watching my videos recently, you know that I was caught in a state of indecision, which basically led to a state of inaction because I couldn't decide if I should move back home or get an apartment and start fending for myself. It was a big decision for me to make. Eventually, I came back home. Now, I came back home and I went to the gym near this area at home, and I used to listen to this video every day when I worked out in the morning at 4 o'clock. It was this right here, The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. And this is literally the core philosophy behind every philosophy that exists out there. Like, this is the truth. And it simply is, you become what you think about. So I was so consumed by negativity because of that big decision that I had to make, I got put in a state of inaction and indecision, the worst things you could possibly put yourself through. My mind was literally consumed by negativity, and I thought nothing but negativity. If you think nothing but negativity, you are going to get negative results 100% guaranteed, because your mind is like a field and you are the farmer. The land will yield anything that you plant it. It doesn't care what you plant it. It just has the natural function of yielding what you planted. You reap what you sow. So if you plant a deadly seed of poison, the land is going to return that in as much abundance as it would a seed of wheat or corn. It doesn't care what you plant. It just does its natural function of returning or yielding whatever you plant. The mind works the same way. If you think negative thoughts, you're going to get negative results, and your life will be a direct reflection of that. Your life results will reflect your mindset, literally. So I reminded myself of this. Boom. Eliminate negativity. Lift yourself up. Lift your mind. Stop being so down on yourself. The way you see this world, the way you see this life is literally 100% determined by your mindset and your attitude towards life. You can alter your life by altering your state of mind and altering your attitude towards life, literally. So literally in the past 2 days, I was able to defeat all the negativity that consumed my mind and know that I'm exactly where I need to be and know that I'm in a perfect position for me to grow and grind no matter what happens. And I'm able to snap back into it. And now I'm implementing a new routine where I'm extremely focused and prioritizing trading. I'm prioritizing sleep. I'm prioritizing removing stress loads. And I'm able to act better emotionally. I'm able to make better quality decisions. Like today was an extremely frustrating day, but I didn't feel anything of it. I didn't allow myself to get down. I just learned from it as much as I possibly could. And that's all you can do, because either you're going to be right or wrong, and that's it. So how are you going to handle the instances where you're wrong? Are you going to lament? Are you going to feel bad about yourself? Are you going to allow yourself to get down? Are you going to think negatively? Or are you going to lift yourself up, ask yourself, how much can I learn from this, and grow from it? That's it. That's all you can do. And that's why 95% of traders aren't profitable. It's simply because their state of mind and it's simply your state of mind and your persistence. Failure hates persistence. If you're persistent with this, like I am, I'm never giving up on this shit, then you literally cannot fail by law. And I know that, which gives me confidence in my own ability to make this work eventually. Eventually, change is inert. It's very slow. It moves like molasses. It moves like tree sap. But underneath the hood, things that you can't see, things are changing. For example, I've been doing this for almost 2.5 years now, and I'm still not making money, but I have completely changed as a person. I have no material success, but I'm not the same person. I'm already a success, even though I have no material success, because I've changed my mind, I've changed my habits, I've changed my attitude towards life, and I'm just a better person in every single way. And that's how it works. Now I'm just waiting for the material success to manifest itself, to realize itself, and that's it. That's it. Okay, with that being said, back to the video. Sometimes you just gotta let it out, you know? I don't know who needs to hear that. Maybe somebody needs to hear that. Who knows? Anyways. You know what I was thinking. You know what I was thinking coming into the open. I can clearly outline that for you. Large down candle, large down candle, large down candle over Monday daily low. That level, that confirms my bias is correct. The market is breaking lower for the previous weekly low, this level right here. Now the first trade that I take, the reason it does not work out is because it's simply in a discount. The market forms this impulse price swing lower, and I opt to take this gap short. I sell short here at the limit, at the lower quadrant of this gap, anticipating first presentation to stay open, which doesn't really make sense because the market tends to rebalance to first presentation almost every trading day. Very rarely does it ever just leave it open and never come back to it, right? But in the moment, I wasn't aware that this was first presentation. That's actually something that I've been kind of lacking awareness of recently, because I don't necessarily use first presentation a lot. It's not something that I'm absolutely looking for at the start of every trading day, but it's something that I definitely should be looking for. It's just another tool in the arsenal, right? So I stop out here, but you can see that at 9:35, I'm still very confident the market has confirmed what I'm looking for and can sell short targeting previous weekly low. The trading view glitch is frustrating and taking my attention away from reading price. And then at 9:40, I stop out, but I don't think the idea is invalidated yet. I will look for a new 1-minute premium array to form within this 5-minute SIBI that confirms the market is rejecting it. So after I stop out on this trade, I have this large gap, large open obvious gap on the 5-minute that forms, and I'm thinking, okay, this idea is still valid because everything confirms that it is. So this large down candle over Monday daily low in the 5-minute and the 1-minute that confirms continuation beyond it. So now I'm just looking for the market to trade up into first presentation, and it does here. Now the reason that I sell short at the market right here is because I see this candle right here. This is just my entry mechanism. These are just the things that I follow that tell me the market is weak and should be sold. This candle trades back up into previous daily low, touched it, but it closed below it. That's a sign of weakness. This candle, you see how it closed right on that level? That's a sign of weakness. You see how this candle opened here, traded up, was an up candle, drove right into first presentation, and then rejected it and closed lower. There, look where the body opened, right? It opened because this candle closed on Monday daily low, previous daily low, and the following opened right there. So the bodies of the candles are respecting that level. That tells me it's weak and should be sold. And add the fact that it drove up into first presentation, did not trade to the middle of that gap. If it can't even trade up to the middle, that's extremely weak. Like that. And at this point in time, I sell the market short. I know. I'm thinking, Lucas, you did the weekly review. You know from the weekly review that you should be focused on low-hanging fruit objectives and smaller risk-to-reward ratio. Because I've come to the realization that I've made things so much harder than they have to be by trying to catch the full swing in price. All I have to do is establish a bias and trade in that direction. I don't need the full swing. I don't need 500,000 handles. I just need 50. That's it. 50 handles or 2.5 to 3R. And I can stack small wins consistently and be profitable and make a living from the market. All I want to do is be able to support myself, and that's it. That's all I want to do. I'm tired of being broke. I'm tired of depending on someone else for life's necessities. I want to support myself. I'm 21 years old. I'm a grown-ass man, and I'm still not able to support myself. That is frustrating. All I have to do is come to the fucking market, frame a bias, trade in that direction, aim for 50 handles, 2.5 to 3R. That's it. That's it. I'm making it way harder on myself by demanding that price delivers exactly what I'm looking for every single time in the exact fashion that I want it to. I don't need that shit. I don't need that shit. That's it. That's it. So I know to target this low based on what I did in the weekly review, and I'm like, okay, this is where I'm fucking up. I have all these good trades that are coming back on me, and I'm letting them turn into losses and this and that. In this case, at least I did not let the trade turn into a losing trade, but I would have never got stopped out anyways because my stop loss was above the consequent encroachment of first presentation, which raises the question is when do I move my stop to break even and when do I not? Which also made me think of a partial profit taking system that would allow me to remain confident in trades and not need to move my stop to break even. Let's run through this hypothetical scenario. Let's say I'm executing 3 contracts here, right? And I'm going to exit the majority of the position at the low a day. So let's say I take 2 out of 3 contracts out right here. I lock in equity. Now that I have equity locked in, I don't have to be so nervous and so stressed about this trade coming back on me and stopping me out and taking the remainder of the position out for a loss because I have the equity that I've already secured at this low to act as a cushion against the loss that I may take if the market comes back and does take my stop. So if I add that cushion and I'm still extremely confident in the idea that the market's likely to deliver this level, I don't have to move my stop to break even. So just some other things to think about, some other things that I could potentially implement in the future. Now in this case, I'm only trading 1 contract and I'm going for a full fucking swing. So absolutely, I have to move my stop to break even. If I'm up over, I sold at 727.5 right there. If I'm up over 80 handles and the market comes back on me, now if that turns into a loss, that's going to be extremely frustrating. But if I already lock in equity on the trade, then it shouldn't be that big of a deal. So that's something else to think about. If I have a lot of confidence in this trade. The only reason I moved this stop to break even was because of that weekly review that I did. I took multiple trades where I was up over 60 handles, and I let that trade turn into a losing trade, which is extremely demoralizing and frustrating. And I'm sure all of us have been in that same situation, right? Big winning trade comes back and either knocks you out for break even or stops you out. In this case, I was able to handle this well emotionally because I changed my daily regime to prioritize trading. So, like I said earlier, I'm focusing on getting sleep, focusing on reducing my stress load. It doesn't really frustrate me that much. I'm able to maturely just take a step back, like, okay, I fucked up. How am I going to learn from it? That's it. That's all you can do. You're going to be right. You're going to be wrong. How are you going to handle it? So in this case, if I didn't move my stop to break even, sure, it would have played out. But I moved my stop to break even based on the mistakes that I've made in the past. It worked here. It's not going to work every time. And that's the thing. So I can't be upset about that. And I don't try to look for another trade because I have a rule that says 2 trades a day max. That's it. Even though this trade was break even, it wasn't necessarily a loss. I'm still limiting myself to 2 trades because I know that after 2 trades, I'm definitely on tilt in some way, shape, or form. So that's basically it. We can go through the recording real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Market breaks lower. I'm trying to find a way to get on side. Looking at that quadrant, that gap, thinking this is going to stay open. Comes back, stops me out. Okay, cool. Very nice, very nice. I don't give a fuck. I'm still confident in this idea. I'm only looking for sells today. I'm not looking to be a buyer. And we can look at the market order sell that I took right here. It's actually pretty clean. So let's watch this candle paint again. Okay, new candle, opens, drives up. I'm looking at where that candle touched that, but closed below it, and that candle closed. The following opens and trades up. I'm noting how it drives up into first presentation and watch the rejection. Tapped the overnight low too. That's another confluence. Tapped the overnight low. And then came off of that aggressively. Like that. So like boom, okay. Now it's painting as a down close candle. I'm like, that looks good. Let me go ahead and enter at the market. Boom. Damn, I actually got a really good feel. I clicked the sell button when it was down here. You saw that. And it flipped up and got me filled there. So stop loss above consequent encroachment, but it never got tagged. Doesn't matter. Can only say that in hindsight. The reason that I moved the stop to break even was because of the mistakes that I made in prior weeks. You can see where my take profit is, right? Now I have a lot of confidence in the market delivering this level. How it's going to get there, though, it might come back and knock me out for break even. And in this case, I know that with the order flow present on the 5-minute, check out the reflection that I said, at 10 o'clock, all I had to do was take profit at the low of day and be in and out of this trade in a couple minutes and be done, but I want more. I'm thinking about the drawdown I'm in, and I want the absolute most. I want price to deliver the level I know it should trade to and nothing less. This is a problem because what happens if it doesn't get down there and comes back to stop me out like it's doing right now? I know I should have got out at the low day, and I know it'd be foolish not to, but I still do it. I'm playing a fool's game, making mistakes but continuing to make the same mistake. I'm not learning, I'm declining. I created a plan to make positive change for my weekly review and completely disregard it. That's foolish. So, you can see where I went wrong today, but how did I feel going in today? This was a good change because I felt great because trading is first priority. When it's the first thing that I do, I am great at it. I feel like I did pretty good today. I confidently came to the market looking for one idea, that's it, and I executed both trades in that direction. So it's a better trading day, a much better trading day than I've had in the past couple of days, maybe even the best trading day I've had over the past couple of weeks. So I prioritize getting good sleep and allow myself to wake up naturally. I feel extremely refreshed and feel no sleep pressure at all. So before I would wake up at 4 a.m., if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I'm doing those 4 a.m. push-ups or whatever the fuck that I think is so cool. And I'm just trying to do the absolute most because I'm literally trying to get 2.5 hours of work in on trading before I even trade the actual session. So I'm coming to the session already burnt out from 2.5 hours of work. I'm only giving myself a 10-minute break in between the 2.5 hours of work that I'm doing and the start of the session or the start of when I form my pre-market analysis. So it's just doing way too much and just trying way too hard. Like, I don't need to do all that shit. It's just really extra. And that just shows how I'm striving for this and just longing for it, and how I put trading on a pedestal. And I think this shit's so crazy to do, and I needed to do everything that I possibly can in order to make this work, right? It's not the case. So I'm prioritizing my routine around the trading session now, and I'm making that my number one priority. So I also came to the market today at 8 o'clock, a bit later, which was good for me, and framing a bias at 9:10 made me speed things up by default and not spend too much time in analysis. I skipped analysis paralysis, which I've been struggling with the past few days, and quickly submitted to a bearish bias. So if you've been watching my past few videos, you know that I struggle with indecision. I'm looking for a buy and I'm looking for a sell. That leads to all kinds of mistakes intraday. I'll flip my bias intraday. I'll do this, I'll do that. I'll take a sell, I'll take a buy. It leads to all kinds of mistakes. But when I came to the market later and I framed a bias at 9:10, it made me speed things up by default, and I didn't spend too much time in analysis. I skipped analysis paralysis, which I've been struggling with, and quickly submitted to a bearish bias. So that was good. And then all the things I learned, I make things so much harder for myself. Aiming for the full swing with one contract every time. I'm demanding the market deliver exactly what I think it should deliver every time. So I'm playing a fool's game, and I just keep self-sabotaging. It's self-sabotage. It's a heavy dose of self-sabotage. And I'm leading myself down the road of hope, because even after I knew that trade was dead and there was no reason for the market to go back down there, at least not after it has a retracement that's going to knock me out from break even, I still hold on to that. And then drawdown is fueling my greed. Because another reason why I'm trying to hold on for these full swings is because I think about the drawdown that I'm in, and I look at the potential profit on the trade. It's over $2,000, and I think about how many losses it's going to make back in one trade, and I want to make it back at once instead of doing a steady climb out of it. I trade so much better well rested. Just explain that. I need to stop worrying about being right. So what did I do wrong? What did I do right? All that. Everything is recorded. Everything is a system. Everything is a process. And if I persistently do this, that there's absolutely no way that I can fail, because I believe in myself and I have faith. And I know that this is what I want to do with my life. I want to trade for a living. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what I enjoy doing. I enjoy the difficulty level of it. I enjoy the self-mastery that is required to be a successful trader, a seven-figure trader. And I know that I'm going to get there with absolute confidence and conviction in myself. Is it going to take time? It's been taking time. Do I care how long it's going to take? No. Do I know that I'm going to get there? Yes. 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 And that's it. So it's going to be for this one. I'll talk to you tomorrow.